all my life, I've never seen any magic. I've seen a little art, lots of science, some pretty good craftsmanship, but never any magic. Magic is that which we don't understand. Once you understand it, it's not magic. And here at Peavey, we try to understand why. I want to know why pickups sound like they do. I want to know why that certain combinations of wood sound like they do. And
everything is empirical. There's no voodoo.
Well, you know, you kind of need to understand what's going on. That which you don't understand is magic. And a lot of guitar players think that guitar pickups are magic. They really want to believe that somewhere there's an old hermit that winds pickups by the light of the moon and soaks them overnight in swamp water, and that gives them soul.
Talk about the process of innovation here at Peavey.
You're looking at a lot of history, about 29 years of my time that you see in this little area here. Basically what I do, we start with an engineering group over at Plant 17 where Harley works, and they'll come up with a concept or design, a shape or whatever, you know, and they'll send it to me, and I'll overlook it, look at dimensions and critical parts, you know, to make sure it's going to work or not. So, but anyway, just kind of give you an idea. This was the shark guitar that Harley was working with Jimmy Buffett on, and this was one of the concept models. And when we start out, you know, we trying to put machine heads on, et cetera, and if the string pull isn't just right, then I'll come straighten it back up or whatever. And what you see in a bunch of bodies and necks, and these are a prototype controller shark necks, as you see here, which kind of in the prototype stage of it. And as we're doing bodies, you know, sometimes you don't really get everything first shot out of the box. You know, and you're going to build a prototype, you'll build a couple more prototypes till you finally dial things in. For instance, say you're putting a contour on a body. This little machine right here you're looking at is kind of like a copier machine. As you can see, I've already put a surface on the body, which is the contour. And what I'll do, I'll take my router to get this exact copy, you know, to make sure I'm getting my prototype exactly like the first one. I'm using this little router here. Wherever you're doing this little ball here, you're tracing around to get the identical shape. So that way, instead of hand carving it or scraping it, you get the exact same shape. So good little tool. I've been using that. Matter of fact, I cut the first 20-something Eddie Van Halen bodies on that very same.
That very one.
The very one, sure did.
Now we're going to talk to James Howell. James, tell me about what you're working on here.
This is one of our custom inlay jobs. It's going to be going to the shows around the area. Basically, I cut all these little pieces out, and I route a channel in the neck and fit them in. Right now I'm going back and engraving, fine-tuning the lines. On the body we have a bullseye that's printed on the art guitar machine, and so it'll look like the arrow's heading straight towards the bullseye.
Harley here's got, this is it, huh? This is the body?
A base, but it's kind of a target.
That's what it'll look like. You got that on there.
And somebody wanted it. It'll something like this. It's not really a target as such, but it's kind of that way. And
it goes well with the theme of the arrow, being it's like a Native American arrow, and you got the older looking bullseye.
20 years ago, heck, maybe 10 years ago, you couldn't just do this as a consumer, come up with a wacky idea.
No, but you see, the whole magic of a custom shop is just that. People want something different. They don't want to be like everybody else. It's kind of the same thing that made people, you know, do hot rod cars. They didn't want a production car. They wanted a hot rod. But now, you know, people standing up there, let's say that they want, you know, an arrow on a guitar, or they want a picture of their grandfather on a guitar, or their girlfriend, or whatever, then we can do it. We have this machine that prints in high definition, which we'll look at in a few minutes. We can literally print anything on a guitar. Anything that you can photograph, we can print on a guitar.
Now, when it comes to hits and misses, a lot of companies would say, oh, don't put your camera on this, you know, when it just comes to basic philosophy. You're more open about this.
The reality is, everybody likes to play like they got all these secrets. And frankly, guitars are not a secret. I mean, people have been building solid body guitars for the last 70 years. So what's secret about it? There's nothing secret. In fact, most of the revolutionary technology we did anyway. So, I mean, what you see is what you get. And some of these worked out well. Some of them well, frankly, didn't. Here's one that we did one time for Neil Sean, and it never saw the light of day. And it was what you see is interesting. It's kind of a reverse deal where this is further forward. I never liked it too much, but it never saw the light of day. Zoom in on that. That'll show you the kind of detail that we can get on the artwork. I don't know who. I have no idea who we're building this for, but it's obviously a KISS thing. And I think that's a.
You never know what you're going to see here in the custom
You
shop.
don't. In fact, if you come here tomorrow, then probably what you'll see would be totally different. This is a Leonard Skinner, and I think these are just samples that we're making up for somebody. They're not stuff we're going to sell. Yeah,
Yeah,
but at any time, there's no telling what you will find in here. Like, here's some of our regular guitars. That's a very nice looking piece of wood. Very comfortable, very ergonomic guitar, I think. Notice we've got the cutaway here, and instead of having just 4 bolts, notice we have 5 to bolt the neck on. But frankly, I don't think there's another guitar you can buy a bolt on with any better quality than what you see. And while we're talking about quality, there's a lot of people that actually believe that old saying that you get what you pay for universally. And while that may be true sometime, a lot of the time it isn't. And a lot of times I ask people, do they believe that you always get what you pay for? And everybody says, oh, well, of course. So my response is, well, have you ever paid big bucks for a concert ticket and you went to the show and it sucked? And everybody says, well, yeah. And I said, well, wait a minute. Did you get what you paid for? And they said, well, I guess not. And I said, well, now, you can't have it both ways. Either you do or sometimes you do. And a lot of people think that the more money they pay for something, the more they get it. And they never think about all the things that goes into the costing of a product. Some companies owe huge amounts of money to the bank or to some bunch of stockholders and all that. That's not true at Peavey. You're looking at the stockholder at Peavey. And we just don't have that expense. And frankly, since we make our own bodies, we make our own speakers, we make our own chassis, we make our own speaker cabinets, we can build a better product for less. And frankly, that's what the good old American way is all about. And I would be embarrassed, frankly, to charge people the kind of money that I see some of these folks charging. But some people are glad to pay it because they could go out and brag about spending, $8,000 on a 10-watt amplifier. I got to tell you, I don't get it.